In the sleepy town of Silver Creek, where the mist from the nearby forests crept through the streets like ghostly fingers, an ancient curse haunted the inhabitants. Legend spoke of the Harrow family, once respected and prosperous, but cursed by an unforgiving moon to transform into savage werewolves under its pale glow. The Harrows were once pillars of the community, their sprawling estate standing as a testament to their wealth and influence. But as whispers of their cursed bloodline spread, fear and suspicion tainted the town's perception of them. Some claimed the family had made a pact with dark forces in exchange for power and riches, while others believed they were simply victims of a cruel twist of fate. As the moon waxed full and ominous howls echoed through the forest, the townsfolk locked themselves indoors, praying for dawn to break the curse's hold. But on one fateful night, the moon hung low and heavy in the sky, casting an eerie glow over Silver Creek. A group of curious teenagers, drawn by the lure of the supernatural, ventured into the depths of the forest, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Among them was Emily, a brave and headstrong girl with a fascination for the occult, and her childhood friend, Ethan, whose skepticism masked a deep-rooted fear. As they delved deeper into the woods, the air grew thick with anticipation, and the sounds of the night seemed to hush in reverence to the impending darkness. Suddenly, a rustling in the underbrush sent shivers down their spines, and they froze in terror as a pair of glowing eyes emerged from the darkness. A monstrous creature, half man and half beast, emerged from the shadows, its fur matted with blood and its eyes gleaming with feral hunger. With a guttural snarl, it lunged towards them, its claws glinting in the moonlight as Emily and Ethan scrambled to escape. But as they ran, the forest seemed to twist and warp around them, the trees closing in like gnarled fingers reaching for prey. Panic seized their hearts as they stumbled through the undergrowth, the creature's growls growing louder with each passing moment. Just when all hope seemed lost, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the silvery light of the moon. In the center stood a dilapidated cabin, its timbers worn and weathered by time, but a flicker of warmth emanated from within. With the creature hot on their heels, Emily and Ethan dashed towards the cabin, throwing themselves through the door and slamming it shut behind them. As they caught their breath, they realized they were not alone. Sitting by the flickering fire was an old man, his eyes clouded with age but a wisdom shining within them. He introduced himself as Jeremiah Harrow, the last surviving member of the cursed bloodline, and offered them refuge from the horrors of the night. But as the creature's howls echoed through the forest, Emily and Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they could ever imagine. And as Jeremiah's gaze lingered on them with a mixture of sorrow and apprehension, they knew that the true nature of the curse had yet to reveal itself. The old man, Jeremiah Harrow, regarded Emily and Ethan with a somber intensity that sent chills down their spines. His weathered face bore the weight of centuries-old secrets, and his voice quivered with a mixture of fear and resignation as he spoke. "You've stumbled into a darkness beyond your comprehension," Jeremiah rasped, his eyes darting towards the cabin's boarded-up windows as if expecting something to come crashing through at any moment. "The curse that plagues my family runs deeper than the roots of these forests. It's a curse born of ancient sins and fueled by the blood of innocence." Emily and Ethan exchanged uneasy glances, their minds reeling with questions they feared to voice aloud. What had driven the Harrow family to such desperation? And what unspeakable horrors lay hidden within the depths of the cursed woods? As the night pressed on, the howls of the creature outside grew louder, its relentless pursuit driving home the grim reality of their predicament. Jeremiah spoke of a ritual, a forbidden rite passed down through generations in a desperate attempt to break the curse's hold. But the price of such power was steep, and the consequences dire. With each passing moment, the shadows seemed to creep closer, suffocating the flickering firelight and casting twisted shapes upon the cabin's walls. Emily's heart raced with a mixture of fear and determination, her instincts urging her to uncover the truth hidden within the Harrow family's dark legacy. But as they huddled together in the dim confines of the cabin, a sense of dread settled over them like a suffocating shroud. The night held secrets too terrible to imagine, and the true nature of the curse remained shrouded in darkness. As dawn approached, casting a pale glow over the haunted landscape outside, Emily and Ethan knew that their journey was far from over. The ancient evil that lurked within the cursed woods had been awakened, and it hungered for more than just their flesh and blood. With Jeremiah's cryptic warnings echoing in their ears, They braced themselves for the horrors that awaited them in the light of day. For in Silver Creek, the shadows held more than just darkness. They held the key to a truth more terrifying than anything they could ever imagine. And as the first rays of sunlight pierced the forest's canopy, Emily and Ethan knew that their fight for survival had only just begun. As the first light of dawn painted the horizon in shades of crimson and gold, Emily and Ethan ventured cautiously outside the cabin, their senses on high alert for any sign of the lurking horrors that haunted the cursed woods of Silver Creek. The air hung heavy with an oppressive stillness, broken only by the distant cawing of crows and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. Jeremiah Harrow stood at the edge of the clearing, his eyes fixed on the horizon with a haunted intensity. "We mustn't linger here," he urged, his voice barely more than a whisper. "The creature that stalks these woods is relentless, and it will stop at nothing to claim its prey." With Jeremiah as their guide, Emily and Ethan embarked on a treacherous journey through the heart of the forest, their path winding through twisted thickets and shadowed groves. Every rustle of the underbrush sent their hearts racing, and every distant howl seemed to draw closer with each passing moment. As they delved deeper into the labyrinth of trees, Jeremiah spoke of the curse that had plagued his family for generations, a curse born of greed and betrayal, steeped in blood and darkness. He spoke of an ancient ritual, whispered of in hushed tones among the elders of Silver Creek, that promised a chance at redemption but came with a price too terrible to bear. But as they pressed onward, Emily and Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that unseen eyes lurked in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And as the sun sank below the horizon, casting the forest into a realm of twisted shadows and shifting shapes, their fears were realized. With a blood-curdling howl, the creature emerged from the depths of the forest, its eyes blazing with feral hunger and its claws glinting in the dying light. Emily and Ethan stood frozen in terror as the creature advanced, its monstrous form looming over them like a harbinger of death. But just as all hope seemed lost, Jeremiah stepped forward, his eyes burning with a newfound resolve. With a voice filled with ancient power, he called upon the forces of nature to aid them in their hour of need, channeling the magic of the cursed woods into a force to be reckoned with. As the earth trembled beneath their feet and the very air crackled with arcane energy, Emily and Ethan watched in awe as the creature faltered, its savage growls giving way to plaintive whimpers. With one final roar of defiance, it turned and fled into the depths of the forest, vanishing into the shadows like a wraith swallowed by the night. But as the echoes of their victory faded into silence, Emily and Ethan knew that their journey was far from over. The ancient evil that lurked within the cursed woods of Silver Creek had been driven back for now, but its malevolent presence lingered like a lingering shadow, waiting for the perfect moment to strike once more. With Jeremiah as their guide, they pressed onward into the heart of darkness, their quest for redemption leading them down a path fraught with peril and uncertainty. For in Silver Creek, the line between myth and reality was blurred, and the true nature of the curse that plagued the town remained shrouded in mystery. As they ventured deeper into the unknown, Emily and Ethan knew that their fate was inexorably intertwined with the ancient evil that lurked within the cursed woods. And as the moon rose high above the treetops, casting its pale light upon the haunted landscape, they steeled themselves for the horrors that awaited them in the depths of the night. As Emily, Ethan, and Jeremiah ventured deeper into the heart of the cursed woods, the air grew thick with an oppressive sense of dread. Twisted branches clawed at their clothes, and ominous shadows danced in the flickering light of their lanterns. Jeremiah led them through winding paths and forgotten trails, his steps sure and purposeful despite the encroaching darkness. But with each passing moment, Emily and Ethan felt the weight of the forest pressing down upon them, a suffocating presence that seemed to sap their strength and cloud their minds. As they journeyed deeper into the unknown, Jeremiah spoke of the ancient power that pulsed through the very heart of the woods, a power born of ancient rites and dark rituals woven into the very fabric of the land itself. He spoke of the sacrifices made to appease the insatiable hunger of the cursed spirits that dwelled within the shadows, and the terrible price that had been paid to keep them at bay. But as they pressed onward, Emily and Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that they were being drawn towards something far more sinister than they could ever imagine. The whispers of the forest seemed to speak of ancient secrets and forbidden knowledge, luring them ever deeper into its tangled embrace. Suddenly, the forest fell silent, the only sound the rhythmic crunch of their footsteps upon the leaf-strewn forest floor. Jeremiah's voice faltered, his gaze darting nervously from shadow to shadow as he scanned the darkness for signs of danger. "We're getting close," he muttered, his voice barely more than a whisper. "But be warned, the path ahead is fraught with peril, and the dangers we face are beyond anything you've ever known." With a sense of foreboding hanging heavy in the air, they pressed onward into the heart of darkness, their lanterns casting feeble rays of light into the oppressive gloom. But as they rounded a bend in the path, they stumbled upon a sight that chilled them to the bone. Before them stood a towering monolith, ancient and weathered by centuries of time. Its surface was etched with strange symbols and arcane sigils, and a palpable aura of malevolence emanated from its jagged edges. Jeremiah's eyes widened in horror as he beheld the ancient relic, his voice trembling with fear. "This is it," he whispered, his words barely audible over the rustling of the wind through the trees. "The source of the curse, the key to unlocking the dark power that holds this land in thrall." But as they approached the monolith, a sense of dread washed over them like a wave, and Emily and Ethan felt the icy grip of fear tightening around their hearts. For in the depths of the cursed woods, they knew that their journey was far from over, and that the true horrors that awaited them had yet to reveal themselves. With the ancient monolith looming ominously before them, Emily, Ethan, and Jeremiah stood on the precipice of a darkness beyond comprehension. The very air crackled with malevolent energy, and a sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. As they gazed upon the ancient relic, Emily felt a chill run down her spine, her instincts screaming at her to turn back before it was too late. But Jeremiah's voice cut through her fear, his words filled with a grim determination. "We must proceed," he urged, his eyes ablaze with a fervent intensity. "The only way to break the curse is to confront the darkness head-on, to delve into the heart of its power and emerge victorious." With a shared glance, Emily and Ethan nodded in silent agreement, their resolve hardened by the knowledge that the fate of Silver Creek, and perhaps the world itself, hung in the balance. Steeling themselves for the trials that lay ahead, they approached the ancient monolith, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. But as they reached out to touch the cold, smooth surface, a deafening roar shattered the stillness of the night, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. With a sickening lurch, the earth beneath them gave way, and they plummeted into the darkness below. As they fell, Emily's mind raced with 1,000 thoughts and fears, each one more terrifying than the last. What awaited them in the depths of the cursed woods? And could they hope to emerge unscathed from the horrors that lurked within? With a jolt, they landed in a dark, cavernous chamber, the air thick with the stench of decay and ancient magic. Before them loomed a vast, shadowy figure, its eyes burning with an unholy light as it regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and malice. "You have come," it intoned, its voice echoing through the cavern like the tolling of a funeral bell. "But know this: here, in the heart of darkness, there can be no salvation. Only despair and death await those who dare to challenge the power that binds this land." With a sense of dread settling over them like a suffocating shroud, Emily, Ethan, and Jeremiah knew that their journey was far from over. For in the depths of the cursed woods, the true horrors that awaited them had yet to reveal themselves, and the fate of Silver Creek hung in the balance. With trembling hands and hearts heavy with despair, Emily, Ethan, and Jeremiah faced the monstrous entity that loomed before them in the depths of the cursed woods. Its presence filled the cavern with an oppressive malevolence, its eyes gleaming with an ancient hunger that chilled them to the bone. "We are not here to submit to your darkness," Jeremiah declared, his voice filled with a courage born of desperation. "We seek to break the curse that has plagued our land for generations, to free our people from the grip of your malevolent power." But the creature only chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down their spines and echoed off the cavern walls like the laughter of 1,000 lost souls. "Foolish mortals," it sneered, its voice dripping with contempt. "Do you truly believe you can defy the will of the Ancient Ones? The curse that binds this land is woven into the very fabric of reality itself, and no amount of bravery or defiance can hope to break its hold." With a flick of its monstrous claws, the creature unleashed a wave of dark energy that engulfed them, twisting their minds and ensnaring their souls in its icy grasp. Emily and Ethan cried out in agony as visions of horror danced before their eyes, their sanity slipping away with each passing moment. But even as despair threatened to consume them, Jeremiah stood firm, his gaze unwavering as he faced the darkness head-on. With a final act of defiance, he raised his hands and called upon the ancient magic of the cursed woods. Channeling its power into a blinding burst of light, that pierced the shadows and banished the creature back into the depths from whence it came. As the echoes of their victory faded into silence, Emily and Ethan collapsed to the ground, their bodies drained of strength and their minds clouded with confusion. Jeremiah knelt beside them, his heart heavy with sorrow as he beheld the toll that their ordeal had taken. "We have won, but at what cost?" he whispered, his voice barely more than a hoarse whisper. "The curse may be broken, but the scars it has left upon our souls will never fade." With a heavy heart, Jeremiah led Emily and Ethan back to the surface, their minds haunted by the horrors they had witnessed in the depths of the cursed woods. As they emerged into the cold light of day, they knew that their lives would never be the same again, for in the end, the darkness had claimed its victory, leaving behind nothing but despair and sorrow in its wake. And as the sun set upon the haunted landscape of Silver Creek, Emily, Ethan, and Jeremiah knew that the true price of their freedom had been paid with blood and tears. The curse may have been broken, but the scars it had left upon their souls would endure for eternity. And in the end, the darkness had triumphed, leaving behind only a legacy of fear and regret in its wake. The end.